Welcome, everybody, to another installment of Plaid Stallion's Toy Ventures. It's been a little while since I did one of these. I got kind of sidetracked with all that new Mego goodness that dropped into my lap, and I've been super busy on a couple of projects. The second issue of Toy Ventures, which is coming along swimmingly, as they would say, and I had to do a little bit of work for my new publisher of the second edition of Rack Toys, which I'm very excited about. It's coming soon. It's been very positive. There's a swirl of energy that I'm really enjoying right now. However, there's another thing that's happening, and that is I've got a ton of packages that are just sitting there unopened. And I thought I would start with this one because it's one from my longtime knockoff connection, and it's something I'm super excited about opening, and I thought I would share it with you. One disclaimer for this episode, it is not for children. It is not safe for work. It's not egregious, but it's just, you don't want to answer these questions. Like a lot of, adult vintage toy collectors on YouTube, I don't recommend children watch my channel anyways. You never know when I'm going to just start swearing. Let's get to the package opening and I can share these goodies with you. So the first thing is another Crazy Creep. For those of you following the show, Crazy Creeps are these weird kind of mishmash knockoff action figures that mainly use the AHI super monsters, usually with a robe and a noose around their necks. It's a very strange one. This one appears to be the AHI Mummy from the world-famous Super Monsters line. He is wearing a brown robe and the noose around his neck. It's weird. You can see the mummy bandages underneath. Very strange. I do not understand what these are, but I can tell you 100% this card, this baggie, this figure, it is all vintage and very strange. And this card header is definitely produced on a printing press. It's just unbelievably weird. Crazy Creeps are something that, I didn't know about until I got the first two, and now I'm kind of addicted. I don't know if my buddy's got any more. This may be it, and this is a shot of the 4 that I have picked up, and these are some of the coolest items I've found in years, and yeah, they're sticking right close to me. These are too awesome to ever let go. But I have another surprise. I have procured yet another Midnight Monster. This time it's an Ahi Dracula. I procured a Midnight Monster a few months back. It was a Frankenstein. I showcased it here. This one is a Dracula. The Midnight Monster line appears to be just like factory second AHI characters. Frankenstein I had a wonky arm. This Dracula is pretty mint condition, but he is missing his cape if he ever had one. And he's on a mummy body. So, my guesstimate with this is either a factory second or a damage return, and the distributor just threw him in a baggie and put this header card on there. There has to be some kind of logical explanation like that. Seems to be the norm with these kind of closeout figures. You see the Wizard of Oz in baggies, that sort of thing. It's just getting rid of the inventory. And this Midnight Monster is another example of that. I don't know if it's obvious, but I really hate photographing these things. The light catches every crinkle in these bags, and when the figures are in such crinkly bags like this one, it's really hard to get good detail when used light. I had to be kind of creative here and creative when I was photographing these guys for the first issue of Toy Ventures magazine. And the thing I warned you about, I hope the kids are out of the room, this guy. What can I say that isn't very obvious? And I know there's a really low-hanging joke there. Don't do it, man. Just don't. It's some sort of adult novelty, and apparently this is a trend. I talked to a couple of friends who actually collect these things. I had no idea. I am a babe in the woods with regarding this. The reason I wanted it was A, it was in the lot, and 2, it's a skeleton. It's a skeleton with a massive erection, but it's a skeleton, and I kind of think it's kooky and weird. I am, of course, being a little modest with the censorship. I'm really not sure what YouTube's stance on this would be. I just kind of love impulse junk that's horror themed, and boy, is this hitting every mark for something that I would enjoy. And finally, this didn't come in the same lot, but it did come from the UK. This is a Coffin cigarette dispenser, another seaside horror item. This may have stood right next to Skeleton Power in some gift shop somewhere. I don't smoke. I don't really collect novelties like this, but I remember running into this thing, I think at an antique mall near me, and I couldn't put it down, and I almost bought it that day, but instead I bought something else. And it occurred to me after I was driving home that I think the thing that appealed to me is that this very clearly looks like the work of Lincoln International. Lincoln International, of course, made the amazing monsters that I'm obsessed about, but also they were a for hire company. You could get them to make novelties and just sell them under your own brand. And it would make sense that a cigarette dispenser wouldn't have a toy company's name on it. There is no name on this at all. It just reeks of Lincoln's artwork. And if I match the font and the art, it's definitely the same artist who drew those amazing monster cards, or at least that's my opinion. The item itself is, kind of weird. The demon on the front seems to have Hitler's haircut. And I will never, ever use this, but just one of those little tiny purchases that reminds me of another toy. I don't know if anyone can relate to that or not, but yeah, this was a must have. Well, there you go, folks. My Monster Mystery Box. I hope you enjoyed it. Toy Ventures will be returning on a weekly basis again. I have plenty of content in the form of some unopened boxes in my basement that I really need to go through and share with you. So I hope you will join me. If you're new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. This is what I do. Vintage Mego will return this week as well. We're going to look at the 12-inch Buck Rogers line. I hope you're into that. If you like talking about knockoff action figures like this, consider joining our Facebook group, Mego Knock Off HQ. There's about 1,000 members in that group. It is straight toy talk, vintage only. Until next time, talk toys, not other people. Take care.